Eamon Khan here for Seconds Out with the one and only Barry McGuigan. Barry, scorecards, let's get straight into it. One of them called the fight a draw. Your thoughts?
I don't think people who are judges, I don't care where they're from, if they're even from UK or if they're from Ireland or they're from Denmark or if they're from Japan, if you get a fight like that, you give a fight like that a draw, you're incompetent. You're not good enough to judge world title fights, or else you're ridiculously biased. And so you can either say he was ridiculously biased or he was incompetent, and maybe he's a bit of both, but he should not be allowed to referee fights. He went straight past us over to their corner to shake hands with them.
Right.
I mean, come on. So what you do, you get one guy from England, you get one guy from Japan, and then you have someone neutral. It's, it doesn't work like that. You judge it as you see it, and there is absolutely no way that Caroline Dubois or that girl, I can't remember her name, or I can't pronounce. Yeah, Shin. There's no way Shin won 5 rounds. Not a chance. She might have won one and drawn the other. She won the 10th, and she might have won the 9th, or certainly shared it with Caroline. But I think Caroline boxed beautifully. Very tough girl. We knew she was going to be tough. And she's, that girl is the Achilles heel for most people. She takes a great shot. She's relentless. She punches hard herself. She closes you down. So she makes you fight. And that was great. And that was the first time Caroline had to do that for 10 rounds. And then in the last round, the last minute of the last round, they were exchanging blows. But she still had the intelligence to roll her head underneath. As soon as she punches, she rolled her head. It was a great performance. It was exhausting, but a great performance. And that will, that's building blocks as far as a fighter is concerned.
Yeah, was Caroline happy with her performance, or was she critical of it coming out of it?
No. She was very happy with it. She just got tired at the end, and we knew she'd get tired because we knew this girl, Shin, could take a tremendous punch. And, you saw the shots that snapped her head back and sprayed water from her head over and over again. She's very strong, very, very strong. But it was good for Caroline. And that's the sort of fight she needs, because she needs to be able to beat all the best girls. She needs to be able to punch. She needs to be able to punch non-stop for 10 rounds. And let me tell you something. If you put that girl in with Serrano, with Katie Taylor, or with Chantel Cameron, she would be in at the end firing punches over their head and hurting them. And, she might have been outpointed in the early rounds, but she will come back. That's the sort of a kid she is. She'll always fight like that. And she'll always be pushing all of the fighters. And that's exactly what we wanted. And the experience will do Caroline the world of good.
Happy for her to now go into fights with Harper if she's free, and then Beatrice Ferreira as well too.
Yeah, we definitely like to consider Harper, and she will have a mandatory, and she's willing to fight all the girls, and it's just about her development now. She's still only a kid, and think about the amount of fights she's had. She's still developing as a fighter. She's learning how to pace herself and how to punch and how to, exhaust herself with a ba, 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 ba. Then take a breather, hold her. And I kept shouting to her, hold your jab out to slow the pace down and to stop her, because she was just sort of walking forward in a square on position. But, Caroline, if you counted the amount of punches that Caroline landed her, it's 10-1. She battered her throughout the rounds. And the girl was, phenomenally tough. But I don't think Katie Taylor, Chantel Cameron, Serrano, any of them would win any more convincingly than Caroline won.
You've got a new addition to the gym in the form of Carol Otoma. Have you managed to see what is the ceiling for him in terms of the work that you've done with him, and how far do you think he can go?
I think he's a great kid. I think he's a great talent. I don't know how far he can go because, I haven't seen enough of him. I was going to run down to Bournemouth to watch the fight, but I didn't have time with too much on. And but he's a developing kid, and he's a nice kid and respectful, and great to have him in the gym. We've also got Willie Hutchinson in the gym as well, who's a world-class light heavyweight, and he lost marginally to Buatsi, who in turn lost to Callum Smith. So, Willie Hutchinson will be right in the mix again. There's no doubt about that. And he's promoted by Frank Warren. You can be sure that they're going to be looking for some DAZN dates for him as well.
It's about a former fighter in the form of Daniel Dubois made the decision to pull out of the fight with Joe Parker. Swollen glands was the reason. He said that he cited that that's been a reason or an issue that's persisted in fights before. Have you experienced Daniel Dubois having to deal with swollen glands in the fights that he was under the McGuigan banner?
I don't know. I wasn't, as you know now, I sort of take a backward step. I come into the gym twice a week, and I encourage the lads and put my arm around the shoulder if they haven't sparred well. But I'm not on top of them every day, so I couldn't answer that question. But the bottom line is, if a fighter is not 100%, then he doesn't go in and fight. And there's no cowardice in Daniel Dubois. There's absolutely none. And so I have absolutely no doubt that he will be a very formidable fighter in the years to come.
What does he have to do to beat Usyk the second time round?
He's got to hit him more to the body. He's got to be more aggressive, and he's got to close the ring down. And he's just got to be busier, livelier, and stay on him. And and he needs to, in sparring, he needs to really work really hard with his sparring partners, set at a very high pace, and get his fitness up. And with the sort of heavy hands that he's got, all he needs to do is hit you once.
Barry, this Eubank Jr versus Conor Benn fight, look, rehydration clause on it, 170 on the day. I've done some journalism for once, and I found out that the rehydration weight won't be any later than 10 a.m. How will that impact the fight? Eubank Jr having to weigh in the morning.
Any later than 10, right?
Before 10 a.m.
Yes, what I'm saying is it won't be any later than 10, right, which means that he has from 10 a.m. to 9 p.m. or 10 p.m. that night to put even more on. So he'll be 170 on the morning. He'll be comfortably inside that, and then he can whack on as much weight as he wants between 10 a.m. and the fight time that he leaves for the ring. For the arena. So yeah, I think he's genuinely, there's the issue. I would have said that Ben has the edge because he's lively and he's punching hard, and he's settling into to the pro game very well. Eubank is more experienced, but then again, his chin was cracked by Liam Smith. I know he got a return and he done the same to Smith, but when guys have got tremendous resistance and then they get stopped or get knocked down and hurt and get knocked out, it takes something away from them that they can never get back. I would give Ben the edge just simply because of that, because he's a tremendous puncher. He's fast, he's quick, he can get the shots off quick. He can beat Eubank to the punch, but Eubank's tough, and it's a really 50-50 fight.
Yeah, a lot has been kind of missing. Obviously, the fight has been getting a lot of headlines, but the fact of the matter is Eubank Jr came in and struck Conor Benn with a foreign object in the fight. I spoke to an old school head like yourself in the form of Ricky Hatton. He said this is the way boxing is going these days. Did you, I imagine, didn't enjoy seeing that? No,
first of all, it's downright dangerous. If he smacked that egg on his cheekbone and then pushed it into his eye, that's potentially a career-ending injury. So it's downright dangerous. It might be funny to some people and it might be hilarious, but to what extent are we going to go with this? Yeah. The board have got to say this just doesn't happen again, and he's got to penalise. They will penalise Eubank. It's just that's a cheap shot and it's unnecessary. I know he may have enjoyed it for the split second that it lasted, but that's not good for the game.
Very well said. Thanks for being a SecondsOut, sir.